My name is Nicole Anzaldua, and I am the Ketamine Integration Specialist here at Wellness for Life. And I'm here with Rakan, who has been one of our patients here for, how long has it been? Have you been a patient?
It's almost two or 3 years. No, 2 years.
Yeah, so
2 years?
almost 2 years.
Yeah.
And most recently, we have been working together through ketamine infusion therapy. And Rakan just finished his 3rd ketamine infusion. And we are here to talk a little bit about his experience, what he actually, as a individual, has actually gone through, his expectations, but most importantly, the shifts and changes that he's seen from these ketamine infusions. And so first, Rakan, I just want to start off with, I know that whenever you first started with ketamine, you were a little skeptic.
Yes.
And you were maybe a little unsure or even uncertain about whether or not it was going to work.
Right.
And I think even you might have even had concerns about just the medicine or the drug itself. So I was wondering if you could just talk a little bit about that first.
So there's a whole stigma behind ketamine. And when I mentioned it before I started, to some of my friends are like, oh my God, Matthew Perry, he Friends guy, actor, it's like he passed away from it. But then I went and I was reading about it. I'm like, oh my God, it was administered by his assistant, and so now his doctors, everybody's in trouble. So it wasn't dealt with the right way. Mm-hmm. So that's the first thing. It's just getting past that stigma.
Yeah.
And then, and like everything else, everything new, you're not sure about trying it. But I honestly trust you guys. So I was like, okay, let's go ahead and try it. And especially since you told me you've tried it before. Mm-hmm. And my only concern was I just didn't know how it works, what it was going to do to me. When something is unknown, you're just not sure about it. But after we did our first session, my own experience, people are different. Again, we just keep saying that all the time. People are different. And I talked to someone who had a ketamine session. Their experience was different than mine. After I was done, I was starving. They didn't want to eat. After I was done, I didn't want to talk. They wanted to talk. So it's just really, really interesting. But from my experience, after the first session, about a week or 2 later, I started noticing things. It's very hard to explain what it does. It's really hard. It just works. So I was telling her, this is not, like, things were changing. My anxiety level, for example, is just like significantly was reduced. And I'm like, Nicole, this is too good to be true. It cannot be the ketamine. And she's like, are you doing anything else? I'm like, no. Did you change anything else? Did you change your lifestyle, diet, anything? I'm like, no. All we introduced was the ketamine. So that to me was, it is what helped with my anxiety level, but it's too good to be true. That's what I can't believe it. And then the other thing was that, so I was on 3 blood pressure medication. They're all stress induced, it's anxiety and stress. It's not cardiovascular. I went to a cardiologist and he's like, your heart is fine. Your blood pressure is just completely from your stress levels and anxiety. And like I said, I was on 3 medications. After the ketamine sessions, I'm down to 1. Again, I didn't do anything, no lifestyle change. Actually, my diet is a little bit worse, and I hate to say that. That is terrible. But
At least you're honest.
Yeah, seriously. But so I got off 2 blood pressure medications, not just 1, 2. So I'm down to 1, from 3 down to 1. And my blood pressure, I check now every day, it's almost normal. I used to have blood pressure, I don't know if, for guys who knows, people who know the values, when I wake up in the morning, it would be like 160/110 in the morning. That's with the medications. That's how stressed out I was. That's how anxious I was. And now I wake up with 1 medication at 125/80. Like on a bad day, it's 135/85 on 1 medication. And that's just after doing the ketamine sessions. So again, I was extremely skeptical. I kept just saying, this is too good to be true. This is too good to be true. But hey, I'm seeing the results. And getting off those medications, that is not something. It's physical evidence. Mm-hmm. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And things have changed too in my personal life. I'm doing things that we talked about procrastination. Like Nicole was like, what do you want to get out of the ketamine treatment? And I'm like, procrastination, reduced stress anxiety level, and they both happened. And it's just, you start doing things. I mean, I stopped going out in the morning and taking pictures, and all of a sudden I'm waking up every single morning and taking pictures. So again, I didn't do anything different but the ketamine treatment. So it's working.
Yeah, and I think that, again, what I think is so amazing is that there are these unseen benefits. For example, him getting up and going and taking photos, which, if you don't know, Rakan is an amazing photographer, so the fact that he's actually doing that again is so amazing. But just like he said, having that physical evidence of no longer needing medication, and I know for a lot of us, taking medication and having to rely on that is very, very challenging. And so this is an opportunity for our bodies to get that reset. And so I really appreciate you sharing all of that. I'm also curious if you could share what it was like for you whenever the ketamine infusion started, because that's another question that a lot of people have, is what can I expect, or what does it feel like? And obviously we all have our different experiences, right, but how it was for you.
So we did like three sessions. So the first one, again, it was recommended that I would put a blindfold and noise canceling headphones. And I personally didn't like the blindfold because it was just too dark, and I'm a person who likes to like be in control. So it wasn't bad, but I didn't like it as much. And when you're under ketamine treatment, the best way I can explain it is it feels like, when your hand goes numb, that's what it felt like.
But your whole entire body.
Yes, but your whole entire body. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can still feel when I do this. I can still feel everything. It's just like your body's gone numb. But my mind was 100% there. It's not a what's the word? It's like your mind doesn't go anywhere. I mean, I was focused because I was listening to the music. I could hear everything. I could think about anything I wanted. But again, that first session, I just didn't like the blindfold. So the next one, I decided to put a VR headset and watch a movie. And to me, that was amazing. I mean, the experience difference was just mind-blowing. I had so much fun. I mean, it was just a great experience compared to the first one. And the same thing, it's just, I'm relaxing, and it's your body that goes numb. That's how the best way I could explain it. Mm-hmm. But my mind is still focused. I remember, it's just your body. But then the third time too, I just put my VR headset and I the same thing. Had a great experience. It's hard to explain, but again, people are different. So what you go through might be different than what I'm going through. So I know I'm explaining to you, but the physical aspect of it is just like I said, like if you feel like, when your leg falls asleep, your hand falls asleep, that's what I felt like, but my brain was all there.
Yeah, a lot of people report or even share that their body almost feels like they're floating in space. But again, their mind it feels like their mind is so much clearer. And yes. Actually, that is true. There is an aspect of being super focused. Mm-hmm. So like when I was watching the movies, I was like zoomed in on details in the movies. I've seen things that I haven't noticed before. So that was interesting. Yeah. That was really interesting that you said, yes. So that was one aspect. When I say my mind was all there, that's, I think, what I meant. That's a good explanation for it. Yeah. And then I'm also curious if you can talk about, because obviously we're talking about the actual ketamine infusion itself. So that is, ketamine in your body. But the other thing that we focus on here is their integration sessions. Yes. And so I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about those integration sessions and how they've been helpful for you in helping you to understand your experiences and how to take all of that moving forward in your life.
So when we did our integration sessions, we were talking about, like, you asked me, what did I want from that treatment? And you have to know what you're struggling with. I think that's a good step because if you don't, you're just like, I don't know, knowing what I wanted from that treatment, I think helped me. Mm-hmm. Especially when I say, like, for me it was procrastination and stress level. Really, stress level was the main thing because that was a huge thing for my blood pressure, and it was just too much. And anxiety, and then it's all connected together, and then all that leads to some kind of depression. And you might not feel it, you might not know it, but you might be in it. So it's good to have these integration sessions with Nicole because she actually explained a lot of things. like I would tell her something. She goes, Rakan, that's anxiety. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. So that was really interesting to have these sessions because we unfolded or uncovered a lot of things that I was struggling with that they came into light. And then I understood what was going on going into these ketamine sessions. And just so you guys know, I wasn't concentrating on those things when I was doing the sessions. It's just that knowing, I guess subconsciously knowing that you have some issues that you need to deal with, and then doing those ketamine sessions. I see, that's why I say it's hard to explain. It's too good to be true. It just works. I really don't know how to explain it, but it worked. For me, it just worked. And I'm really thankful that I've done it.
Yeah, we're so grateful that you have been a part of this, and I'm so grateful you've been a part of this journey. If there's one thing that we could tell somebody, if there's anything that you would like to share, what is, like, if you were talking to somebody and you were like, you know, this is what I want to share about ketamine, about my experience, what is the one thing that you want people to take away from that?
So honestly, the one thing that I really want to emphasize is that Nicole was with me the entire session. She was monitoring my blood pressure and my oxygen level, and if you needed anything, she's always there sitting next to you. That's was super reassuring, because she was right there. I felt safe. Like I said, the only thing I just don't like to be not in control. So you notice, I would tap my fingers just to see that, hey, I'm not falling or something, which is, again, people are different. You might not do that. You might be totally fine, but that's my own experience. But having Nicole there, it was just give me so much peace of mind, and it made the experience just so much more, not luxurious, but just made it so much. I feel so much more special. Let's just say that.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that you brought that up, because that's actually one of the biggest differences between our clinic and other infusion clinics. Is there are a lot of infusion clinics out there, and they all have a space and a place, but the biggest difference is that a lot of them, they leave you in a room on your own while you're going through ketamine, and a lot of times ketamine can bring up some overwhelming experiences or emotions, and you're processing that all on your own. And so instead of that, for here at our clinic, we offer ketamine infusions. Just like Rakan said, I'm in the room the entire time monitoring your blood pressure, your oxygen levels. If there's anything that you need to process verbally, if you need any therapeutic touch, such as a hand hold, that's just letting somebody know that, or letting you know that, hey, someone is here during this entire process. And then again, I'm there for you during that integration so we can make sense of everything that has happened. And a lot of times we want to pull in those insights that we gathered from that psychedelic experience into our everyday life. And sometimes that can be really challenging, which is where integration comes in. We are so excited to get this ketamine infusion therapy going and helping more people, exactly like Rakan, maybe even lowering medications, but overall living a better life, doing the things that they want to be doing without having so much resistance. Thank you so much, and we look forward to talking to you more about ketamine. And if you have any questions, please feel free to leave us any comments below, and we'll make sure to address them.